maintain our passing line and really kind of take charge on defense and keeping us organized in that regard on the court. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how it's organized. Everyone's always rotating. These guys are always moving around the court. I'm always staying in the back row. Yeah. Essentially, that's it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do you pick a position? Like, is it kind of something like you're playing the same thing you played in high school, or like what? How does that process work with volleyball?
It's kind of based on your body type, I guess. If you're taller, you're going to be a hitter. If you're shorter, you're going to be a defensive player. But I mean, it's mostly the coach's preference.
Yeah. Is the libero the one that has like the one jersey that doesn't match everyone else's?
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, exactly.
So what does that mean, I guess?
Honestly, I don't know why they have a different colored jersey.
Do you get to pick, or is it something like Coach,
no,
for
it's
example,
just you'd always just have the opposite colored jersey as the rest of your team. But essentially, the position is just concerned with defense, and for us, the biggest thing is keeping our offense in system. So maintaining good communication with my passers, like that's pretty big for us this year, and that's brought us a lot of success. So as a libero, you see a lot of liberos directing guys around because they also have a really good view of what's going on because they're not in the front row, they're watching everything, and they're kind of responding to what's happening. So that's kind of my job on the court, is just watching everything, giving people feedback. Yeah. Hopefully they give me feedback too, and that's how it works.
Cool. And I'm just kind of curious. So you guys are kind of towards the end of the season, and hopefully you have a good run through the tournament. When did your season start? Maybe kind of want to walk through some of the highlights of this kind of past season going into the playoffs. I mean, Brandon, for example, like what's been your kind of your highlight of the season?
Well, it's a very long season. We start preseason around November.
We get a couple of games in the home court in the Slug Dome over at the Westfield House early in January, February. But the highlights always have to be the traveling days. When we get to travel as a squad, really work on that connection, that bond, maintain that communication, as Jake says, in different ways. Volleyball is a very team-heavy sport. Yeah. So being able to have that connection with your teammates is very important. Translates well on the court and off the court.
Yeah. Jake?
Well, one highlight for sure is that we beat the number one team in the nation this past February, December, January. That was a pretty big highlight. I mean, we took them handily. There's only one slip up. They took a game off us, but that's it.
Cool. So I'm curious. So, there are tons of sports, and you probably play others. What was your entry into volleyball? How did you decide that, like, this is going to be the sport you guys kind of choose and train for, and you're here, you're playing college ball. Like, what was that process like? Was it something you were turned on to kind of early on, or maybe kind of came into it some other way?
It's kind of something that I just grew up around. My parents, I lived on the beach my whole life, and it's something that I've just been around my entire life. So, I mean, I used to play more sports as a younger kid, and then I got more specialized into volleyball as I got older. But the way I got into it was just playing with my dad and playing with his friends, and, you just keep, as you get older, you get more advanced, and then you play in high school, and you play club. And then if you're lucky, you make it in a college team, and here we are.
I was just